How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at hack slash comic book Carnage. This is the third story collected in Omnibus 1, and is a interesting little story. Cassie and Vlad go to investigate a series of murders at a comic book convention and find quite a strange killer. Overall, this is a good story, but it's not a great story. Like, Girls Gone Dead, I think, had quite larger scale and a much more interesting setting. I don't think the fun of a comic book convention necessarily translates onto the page of an actual comic book. Maybe if they had more references, like, cosplayers or something, but you get to see lots of people that are actual comic book creators, and it's quite fun. They do actually kill off some of the people that were probably their friends in real life, but a lot of it feels like an inside joke because I, as the audience, don't really know these people, and it's hard to see them as characters. Plus, there's all the stuff they reference that I don't think is actually real. I think it was just made up for the story, and maybe if they had used real stuff instead, then it would be more interesting. But yeah, a comic book convention where like half the stuff, if not more, is just made up for the comic, not necessarily as interesting. And you do get to spend way too much time with the humans, and I would have rather see much more with the killer, because the killer in this is a super interesting killer, and when you find out who he is and what his backstory is, there's some good stuff in here, and I wish it focused more on that. Overall, a cool character that is dominated by a so-so setting. And while Girls Gone Dead did have a better, bigger, over-the-top finale, the finale in here is still pretty good with some fun moments. And of course, the key thing as always, getting to see some character out of Cassie and Vlad. I won't spoil it, but there's one scene at the end where Cassie tries something and immediately realizes she's kind of messed up and doesn't necessarily know all the social cues she thought. Won't say any more than that, though. But I did also like getting to hear why Vlad likes comics and a little bit more about his backstory. So yeah, character in here is good as always. The killer's good as always. It's just wasn't super interested in the setting and hanging out with these people that aren't like huge over-the-top personalities that eat up a lot of the screen time. As I said, it's okay. It's fine, just not my favorite entry in this series. Anyway, let's switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys some of the art, some of the story. No major spoilers, but if you want a bit of a deeper analysis, let's go ahead and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle taking a closer look at comic book Carnage, the third hack slash story collected in Omnibus 1. Let's bring it closer to the camera, and if we go to the credits page, once again, the writer of all these stories is Tim Seeley, but here we have the credits for comic book Carnage, and we can see the penciler is Federica Manfredi, who was the same penciler as Girls Gone Dead. So cool to see a returning artist. Like I said, hack slash had a ton of different artists behind it. But anyway, let's go ahead and flip to that cover page. And here we are. I really do like this cover. Hack slash comic book Carnage, bloody knife in the foreground, Cassie charging, and we get to see all the comic books like 30 Days of Night there, and some figures and stuff. And also, this is a real outfit that Cassie does wear in the issue, and it's probably one of my favorite outfits of hers, because yeah, it's a Freddy Krueger shirt. That's pretty cool, and it's, they're at a convention, so it makes sense. After that, let's get into the story proper. No major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this is about. Yeah, no major spoilers, but let's dig in. We open up at the Pennsylvania Wizard World convention, and we get to see the convention there, and we get to see this booth by a company called Young Buck and all the people that work there. Now, I think the deal is the people are real and everything else is made up for the issue. I'm pretty sure Young Buck wasn't real, and I'm pretty sure the comic they're working on, and even the movie that this girl's starring in, isn't real. but if you guys know any differently, let me know. But we get to see how they're rebooting a character called Wonderkin, and how it was like a golden age hero, and now they're going to give it a darker twist. And we get this guy who's upset because he said that was his idea and you stole it from him. Which, yeah, that stuff does happen in writing quite a bit, because, you know, a lot of people get kind of similar ideas, and now we have this guy being a little unhinged. I really also like the Evangelion cosplay in the background. I wish there was more of that, but like I said, most of the stuff in this book is just made-up comics, but the ones that are real are fun. Anyway, the characters here, we have Stephen Niles, who made 30 Days of Night, probably the biggest star here at the time, Scotty Young, an artist from Human Torch and Venom, and Messy Stench, who is an actress from Troma. Cool to see Troma referenced again. It was a sticker on the laptop in the last issue. And again, I'll say, I wish Troma got to make the Hack Slash movie. That would have been fun. Anyway, last to show up is actually Robert Kirkman. Robert Kirkman is super famous now. He did Walking Dead and Invincible, and in fact, Skybound actually put out that Renfield movie. But here's kind of a before they were famous appearance by him. Yeah, Robert Kirkman is so much bigger now than he was in this book. Funny to see him here. But anyway, we will get Steve Niles. He's in the shower when this strange little guy peeks in the door, shoots him with a little trank dart, and then is going to stab him psycho style. Yeah, they do kill off people who are probably friends with the writer, so kind of funny there. But anyway, at the hotel room, Cassie is getting reckless, and she's made a pillow into some sort of training dummy, and Vlad has bought her some burgers. Actually, he didn't buy them, he found them in the trash can. And that leads to one of my favorite Hack Slash panels, and that's the two of them in this cheap hotel room, lying down, laughing, and just burgers they got from the trash can, the wrappers on the floor surrounding them. I really do love low-key moments with the characters, and they really do go a long way. Of course, it's interrupted when they hear about the slasher on the news, and they're going to go to the convention. And again, while we're at it, how about another helping of character moments? We didn't get to learn too much about Vlad. We got Cassie's origin story, but Vlad will talk about how he was taken in by this guy named the Butcher. He had to hide because of his physical appearance, and in turn, he would wind up reading a bunch of comics. And we get him, he said his favorite was Chippy Chipmunk, this weird little kid's comic, and of course Cassie's going to think that that's funny. A big, tough guy like Vlad likes a little cartoon chipmunk. But I do like getting to hear him talk about this, and he'll talk more about it towards the end in the conversation I don't want to spoil, but yeah, getting to see Vlad and his connection to humanity, you know, how he's been kind of cast aside, but he really wishes he could fit in. Anyway, the other members of the company are going to be kind of talked down by security, and Cassie and Vlad will introduce themselves and say they're here to help. The other people aren't going to believe this, of course, but they decide to split up and kind of keep an eye on the rest of this crew and see if they can help them out. And so Cassie's going to go to the movie premiere, which, by the way, I had to look it up. Again, this is not a real movie, but with the way Troma is, I'm actually kind of surprised it isn't. But of course, it's really campy and Cassie's groaning, and that's where we find that she also got a dart, and the killer has incapacitated her so she can't help, and that's where she gets a glimpse of this mysterious little baby figure as well. Now, while all this is going on, we actually do get Vlad hanging out with Robert Kirkman. I like the idea that he can wear his costume here and his mask, and no one really pays him any attention because they think it's just some comic book thing, and because he was interested in the same comics Kirkman was interested in, the two are bonding. And again, I really do like to see scenes like this, but of course, Vlad gets called into action. After this, we do have some fun action sequences, and we do get to see what that killer is up to, and it is a really fun and interesting and different idea. Overall, As I said, I don't like this as much as the past issues. You know, getting to spend some time with these humans is okay, but, you know, I don't really know them as characters, and half the comic stuff in here is made up. It's fine, but I kind of wish we focused on this killer, because the killer is super interesting. Overall, a fine issue, not my favorite, but definitely good enough, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us here. I did read all the stories a while ago, but it's fun rediscovering them. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my slasher movies playlist if you guys want to see my reviews of the past entries, as well as me talking about a ton of slasher movies. You can find those in there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.